So welcome back to another episode of Disrupting Long Island. I'm here with Ryan Carroll, Chef Ryan Carroll. Sorry. He is the founder of Carroll's Kitchen and the owner of Kickin' Chicken, along with a bunch of other projects that we'll get into. But welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear kind of how you got started and start from the beginning and see like why you became a chef in the first place.
Why I became a chef? Let's see. I mean, I grew up in Sayville.
Okay.
And then I needed money. My parent, I didn't get much of an allowance, so I went and got a job. So then I went to a restaurant, went to the back door, and I was like, hey, can I get a job as a dishwasher? My cousin was working there. I started washing dishes, and from there I started prepping, doing everything, food running, busing, worked my whole way through high school, working in restaurants and stuff, cooking and stuff. And then I went to school, went to CIA, Culinary Institute of America, got my bachelor's degree, went to Spain for a little bit, and then I started working in New York City, and then, yeah.
That was the real fast version. So when you went to CIA,
Yeah.
and then you wound up in Spain. What did you do in Spain?
Spain, we did a food, wine, agriculture trip.
Okay.
So we drank, ate, and went around Spain, went to like San Sebastian, Madrid, Rioja, just all over.
How long was that?
It's like 2-3 weeks, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like a short little stint, but we went to all the right spots.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool. We went to one of the oldest restaurants in Spain, where Anthony Bourdain went, where they serve the suckling pigs. Mm-hmm. And then the guy, like, it's a little baby pig like this, and then he cuts it with a plate. It's like crackling skin, and he cracks it with a plate, and then he takes the plate, he throws it against the ground. It's pretty legit.
Why did they do that?
It's
just like part of the show.
It's like when the president becomes a president in Spain, they go to this restaurant.
Okay.
It's like an old tradition. So the guy's old man has worked there. His father's worked there. His father's father and his father's father. So his great grandfather was like one of the first, owners, chefs, whatever it may be, restaurateur there. So just a tradition that they cut the pig, like cut the pig's head off with it's like a splayed out pig. It's like spatchcocked almost. So they cut the head and they cut it, and the skin is just it's like chicharron. It's so crispy, and it was amazing. And they just cut it up. Then I don't know. Just to be extra, he smashes a plate on the ground. It adds that extra effect.
Yeah, that would be startling if someone just came over to my table, did like tableside guacamole, and then threw the mortar and pestle to the side.
That should be it. They should do that.
That would be cool. You should institute that in one of your restaurants.
Yeah, destroy the mortar and pestle every time. That'd be great.
So you went to Spain for a little bit. You came back. You started working in New York. So where did you start? What did you do?
I already worked in New York. So when I went to school, I went to CA for like 3.5, 4 years. Mm-hmm. So I did an externship they call it, because you get paid. Not really. It's like $300 a week.
It's like a little
to work
stipend,
like 70 hours. I worked at the Aqua Grill on Spring Street when I was like 19. I was in Brooklyn with my brother. I was worked like a dog. But I learned so much there. So that was my first taste in New York City, cooking in New York City. And then when I graduated, I worked for a major food group. I worked at Siddell's. They own like Carbone and whatever. They own a lot of stuff right now. So I worked for them. And then, what did I do after that? That was crazy. You're talking about doing 400 or 500 covers for brunch every single day. Omelets, things like that. It's crazy. Absolute mayhem. I worked there, and then I came back to Long Island, and I worked with Steve at Off the Block. This is like 2015, 2014, I guess, when he first opened it. I worked with him for a little bit, and then I went and worked for John George after that.
Who's John George?
John George, he's like he's 2 Michelin now. He's like one of the most famous chefs in the world. He's like a really fancy French chef. He's got the John George in the Trump Towers.
Okay.
So it's in New York City, if you got John George in your resume, it's pretty big to start. But I worked at the Topping Roast House in Bridgehampton. So I came back and worked in the Hamptons for a while. From there, and I met a lot of people, good people. It was all farm to table. So
okay, that's cool.
There's a farm there, and I got to know a lot of the local farmers out east, like where to get the best corn. And, when you get produce from farms out east and stuff, like really good corn, then you have regular corn at a grocery store, you're like, this is shit. And you start to see the differences in really growing things properly, and then that comparison of like really good food to really shitty food. And it's the same thing when you work in a really good restaurant, like when you're in New York City and you're eating out at like the top places, And then you come to Long Island and it's like, fuck, everything's so much better over there, but you take the goods with the bads.
Yeah, I mean, so you started building your network up a little bit. Now you have like different distributors, different people. You know where to get all that produce.
Definitely.
Did you institute that in any of your places?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a lot of places I worked. Like when I started Carol's Kitchen, we were sending people out east to go get free produce from like Balsam Farms and stuff because they were throwing a lot of stuff out.
Yeah. So what is Carol's Kitchen for anyone who's watching?
So Carol's Kitchen is my nonprofit 501c3 that I started during COVID, accidentally / on purpose.
What does that mean?
I mean, I don't even know how I started it, but it became a movement. I mean, I don't know where we left off, but I worked in New York City until I was like 27, and then worked at a bunch of different places. March 17th, they closed down all the restaurants in New York City. It was pretty much all the employers, restaurant owners, every business was like, we can't pay you anymore. You're on furlough. So, you're working like 60, 70 hours, 80 hours sometimes for people. And then it's like, you're let go.
Go home.
So I have like $800 to my name. I had a nice apartment in Jersey City at the time, and nowhere to go. So I called my uncle. I was like, hey, can I come live at your house? And he was like, yeah, for sure. And so I took 2 Uber XLs and moved all my stuff to my uncle's house. Still left so much stuff in my apartment, and I kept paying rent there because they were like, oh, 2 weeks you'll be back.
Yeah.
Then it was like 2 months you'll be back. And then 2 years passed and the place just reopened. So it's like, it was wild. So I went to my uncle's house and I can't sit still for 5 minutes. So I'm like, they were saying that, I can't go see my grandma. I can't, see elderly people, like, because during that time was like, they're all dying in Italy and stuff. Remember how bad that was?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm just gonna make my nana chicken parm, say goodbye to her, and then I won't see her for who knows how long. Because everything was up in the air. So I go to Stop and Shop to buy chicken make chicken parmesan, not expecting to make what I was about to make. They had no chicken at Stop and Shop because people were killing each other over chicken and toilet paper.
Yep.
So I went to Restaurant Depot, I went to Restaurant Depot, didn't have a card or anything for Restaurant Depot, right? And said I worked at like Buterra's or something. And so I snuck in, only could get a 40-pound case of chicken. I was like, fuck it. I was like, well, you know what? It just hit me like that. Like, I was like, I'm going to make chicken, Parmesan, rigatoni alla vodka. I bought to-go containers, to-go silverware, bags, everything. Started a little mini company. And then I was on social media like, hey, I'm going to make 120 chicken Parmesans. I'll deliver it to your house from here to Blue Point, from Massapequa to Blue Point, because my nana lives in Blue Point. And if you're on the way, I'll drop it off. I started at like 6 in the morning. Put it on social media, Facebook, everything. I sold out literally. Like I started at 6 in the morning and I finished at like 11 at night. And I drove around everywhere. And so the premise of it was, I'll sell you chicken Parmesan and rigatoni alla vodka. I'll sell you a meal. Your grandma eats for free. And I'll donate all the money to Island Harvest or a charity. The first time with Island Harvest. And then I'll put a spreadsheet up and show you the balance. That's legit what I'm doing. Because I had $800. I would have been gone in like 2-3 days, which it was gone the first day. So I did that. Great. So I broke even. I had like an extra $237. Donated that right to Island Harvest. I had made $800 back, whatever it was. Second day, I'm like, all right, let's do this again. So then it started to like create a buzz. And then I called my friend Marty, who owned Bistro 25 East in Blue Point. I called like 5 restaurant owners. Most of them like, dude, we don't even know what we're doing. Like, and Marty was like, yeah, come on, do it. So I was like, can I come to your restaurant and make chicken parm heroes and sell them? Because I sold like 120 orders yesterday. I think I could sell like a bunch, and I'll give you 25% of the proceeds. I'll give the rest to charity. And he goes, yeah. So I get in there, and my phone, I have like the brand new iPhone now. Like at that time, I think I had like I don't know what it was, like the 7 or something. I don't know. I was getting so many texts and so many Facebook DMs and stuff that my phone wasn't working. So I called.
I was probably one of them. Yeah.
So I called my sister. I was like, hey, can you, and I'm trying to like cook while taking orders. I'm like, oh, I need some help. So I called my sister. I'm like, can you work my phone while I cook. And then it came to the point where she's like, Ryan, you have like 200 orders here. I'm like, shit. So I call my other friend. I'm like, hey, can you help me cook? And then me and him are in the weeds. And I'm like, shit. So then I put a post, hey, if anybody wants to help us cook, come help us cook. And people just started coming in because everyone was out of work. I was like, I'll pay you whatever I can. And so the first day was me, this kid, Chris Hendy, my sister, like 2 other people.
And this is all just day 2?
This is day 2. So it's like 4 people, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, shit. So, and mind you, at this time, you can't get food easily at Restaurant Depot or anything because the whole supply chain is just down in the shitter. The whole world's in the shitter. So this is day 2, and I'm on like an hour of sleep. So I doubled the money that day. Paid my sister, paid Hendy, paid the 2 people. Word gets around that nobody's hiring or paying anybody. Mm-hmm. I'm actually paying people like cash, like, hey, and this might be illegal. Arrest me, I don't care. I'm paying people cash, like, here you go, this, that, and third, and donating all the money just to break even, just to have enough money to buy food the next day. So then day 3, we start getting a shit ton of volunteers, and people start donating money. And so I go out, I'm like, if we're gonna do this, we gotta do it right. I'm like, I wanna serve really good food to the people in need. I wanna serve really good food to people that wanna eat food because right now it's a tough time. So we got like short ribs, and I did like twice baked potatoes and like steak and things like that. And then we sold out again, and then it blew up. I took like 5 people we had like 40 people there, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm up all night. Like, how am I going to organize this into an organization? I'm up all night texting this and that, and then I'm on a piece of paper. I'm like this, like, okay, I'll be the CEO, and then I'll have the chefs here. I'll have a division of charity here. Okay, I'll have a social media team here. I'll have girls running the phones here. We got like 4 phones, and we'll run it out of bistro. And then that blew up, and I needed more kitchen space. So I don't know, Josephine from Baldor, she was like, hey, I got this guy. I saw your post. You needed more kitchen space. I got this guy who owns Chachama Grill, Elmer. So I went and met Elmer. He's like, hey, you can use my kitchen. So now we're literally feeding, because it's not like we're just giving the food away. Now we're making hundreds of meals. So we're making 500 meals a day and feeding shelters and feeding elderly and feeding different organizations and stuff. So during the day, we're feeding like thousands of people individual meals, and then we have moms from all the towns coming and delivering it across Long Island. And then at night, we're making cool ass food with a bunch of dope chefs from all around Long Island and New York City and selling it to the public. So it's like Robin Hood. Like, we're selling food to the people that can afford it in order to feed people that can't afford it. Yeah. So it turned into that, and then it just morphed into so many different things, so many cool things throughout the time. We had just dry goods alone. Like, I worked at Debbie Loesch from Angels of Long Island. I just had trailers of dry perishable foods, like
from donations or from
I would just get these trucks and just, hey, you got it? I'll come and pick it up, and load it up with like 10,000 pounds of dry goods, like everything: diapers, sugar, salt, flour, snacks. And I would just drop them off at different organizations, like servicing the underserved, for veterans and United Veteran Beacon House. I would just come with like trailers, like, here you go. And I'd come with a team of people, like, because, they would be like, oh, well, we don't have people to unload it. Oh, no, I got it, don't worry. And I would come with a squad of people and the trucks and everything. So there's nothing they could say to me where they couldn't take the food.
You're just
and they would be like, oh, well, we don't have people to give it to the veterans. Like, okay. So I would like get the addresses from them. Not saying that, I'm not going to say that organization, but I would get the addresses of the actual people under their umbrella and do all the work for them, because they didn't have the staff, but I had all the people. Mm-hmm. So I compiled lists from every organization, like you name it. I still have the list of where these people actually live that are hungry. And so I would just skip over the working, not that I would skip over working with them, but it was so much red tape. I'd be like, tell me where the people live, and I'll bring stuff to them.
And this is during a time where it's difficult to get things to these people.
It's difficult to do anything. It's difficult to do anything because nobody's working.
This is crazy. I didn't know all of this.
It was difficult to even start a nonprofit because I have to go to the bank and create a bank account and things like that. So I'm on the phone with Wells Fargo. I hate Wells Fargo, by the way. On the phone with them trying to start a bank account when nobody's working at banks. The banks are all closed. So I'm on the phone and I hear chickens in the background. This lady's in the Philippines. I'm like, no, I want it. It's Carol's Kitchen Inc. And she's like, okay, can you spell it for me? I'm like, fuck. And this is while I have like 60 people around me. I'm like cranking out paperwork, but I had a really good team of people. Like this girl, Jenna, she was like working for like Mamafuku in the city and stuff, like director ops and whatever she did, like manager, GM. Like she went to CA too. She was very smart. She helped me create Carol's Kitchen. Her dad is a lawyer, so he helped me expedite the paperwork.
Cool.
She helped me with the accounting and stuff in the beginning until I got a really good accountant, Amanda. She's a gem. She makes sure that everything gets squared away. Because it's not about taking the money from the charity, because that's extremely hard. It's more that my money, which I don't have much of at all, because it all got sucked into that. Like I would just be like, just put it all into the charity, because it would just keep it going. It was like the Mr. Beast thing where he just keeps putting money into the videos. Yeah. It was the same thing.
You just get crazier and crazier.
I was like,
bigger.
well, let's just feed 10,000 people then. And everyone around me was like, are you fucking crazy? I'm like, no, it's totally possible. And I put it on paper with a team. I'm like, we have the teams. We can fucking do anything. We have 60 people. I was like, we could literally do anything. We have 60 people and we have money and we know that nobody's working. We can get the people to help us. So I used to say too, I don't know if it's appropriate, but like Fidel Castro took over Cuba with like 50 people, or it was like 20.
It's like a coup.
50, yeah. You can do anything with 60 smart, able-bodied human beings.
Yeah. I wish I had 60 people.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, from there it was like marketing it and branding it and creating a cool website. So I met Sarah Laval, and I met her through Doug Lessing. I was like, I took Doug and I was like, hey, you got somebody for a website? I actually asked like 20 people because I was so like persistent. I was like asking everyone I knew, who does your website? Who does your website? This and that. I met Sarah and she did my website, and like, we like legitimized everything from the business end to the website to the, social media. And it got to the point where the social media ran itself, everything. And I just, was gallivanting on social media, just running around and trying to find more people to feed. So that was the beginning of Carol's Kitchen. Now from there, I ended up I made a deal with the owners of Bistro 25 East. It was Marty and a couple other like, old guys, great guys. They gave me 20% of the business. I put $1 down for me to help save it. So partially what I was doing was trying to help save restaurants and stuff. So, that was during the summer, right? So March, now we're in the summer, and I'm like, all right, so we're gonna do live music. I got tables from the Sayville Fire Department, from Blue Island Oyster Company, from Chris Quattrino. I got tables and tents from him. We had outside can jam, outside everything, live music every night, and the place was packed. This little place in the middle of Blue Point was packed every night, and literally did more sales than it's really ever done during COVID, where you couldn't even sit inside.
Wow.
So we created that, and like live music every night, and like a place for people to go out. I feel like, because no one was going out or going out to dinner.
Yeah. And
restaurants were scared to do what I was doing. But I just didn't care because I had nothing to lose, and I just wanted some normalism. I guess the whole world was like crumbling. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. There's a line, I'm probably gonna cross it. As long as like the numbers are all together and stuff, like, come at me. So I did, and we did it, and it worked. Until like that second wave of COVID during Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so I remember the summer because we did one outdoor event at a restaurant. Similar to what you did, live music out in the parking lot, a bunch of chairs and tables spaced far apart.
Yeah, so but you can have somebody on social media, one of the Karens on like Long Island Foodies saying, 7 feet, 10 feet, 6 feet.
Yeah, what are they doing? Like there was always those people who were like, well, why are they doing this? Or
I had such like a mob of like devoted people in the town of Sayville and Blue Point. Like a sense of community that if people like came at me, then I'd have like 10 moms just be like, don't you talk about Ryan like that, blah, blah, blah. Like it was like Queen, like somebody texted Beyonce, like, they would do, at that point it was like the moms love me that much.
One negative comment.
They'd be like, don't fuck Ryan.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're genuinely doing good.
Like genuinely, like from my heart, like giving away all my money and like genuinely helping people, like selfishly, like truly. So it all added up and it helped out. But The what are you talking about?
So we're up to Carol's Kitchen. It was like the summer.
Thanksgiving. So
Thanksgiving,
it was all gravy until I was
all gravy.
It was all
Thanksgiving.
It was all good. Then Thanksgiving, we started feeding. It was like 7,000 meals for Thanksgiving, and we had the list of everyone all across Long Island. So we'd have drivers come, give them organized lists in towns, and they would deliver it to each person's house. Times 7,000 meals.
Wow.
So it was a lot. I had to get a kitchen.
And you did that with just 60 people? I say just as if it's like a small amount.
I didn't even have 60 people at that point because people were dropping off like flies, because after the summer, during the summer, when I redid Bistro, I lost a lot of people. Everyone tried to go back to work and then
it came back. Yeah.
And then, so I got a kitchen in Belmore. I rented out, it was like $2,000 a month, this giant kitchen. And because it was just so much food that I needed more space. So I rented that out, and we made all the food for Thanksgiving there, like thousands of pounds of turkey, this, that, and the third. And then prepped it, cooled it, put it in big black bus tubs. And then I had Surf Pro, one of my, Steve Kilmeade, not Brian Kilmeade from Fox's brother, Steve. He was part of Carol's Kitchen on the board. He owns Surf Pro around Ronkonkoma. We would get the Surf Pro guys, hey, can you guys come pick up the food and bring it to Bistro? And then in Bistro, we would have, we'd assemble all the meals. So we'd have like 40 volunteers come in. At this point, it wasn't like paid staff. It was all volunteers. I knew what we needed to do, but we'd have people from the community. So I'd have like families and their kids come in, and we'd assemble all the meals, package them, and then more volunteers would drive and deliver it. So that's what it was. It was super organized.
So you had like a prep kitchen, and then you had a assembly kitchen.
A commissary kitchen, and then Bistro was like where the town comes together and we deliver all the meals and stuff. So we did that.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah, if you see it,
you're still going at this point.
Easter, we just fed 10,000 people for Easter. So, and then from there, so then that Thanksgiving, if you remember not this past Thanksgiving, but like the one during COVID, that was like when everyone was like, "Oh, COVID's over," and then it hit again. Everyone like kind of just gave up. They're like, "Fuck, this sucks." Mm-hmm. And then, everyone at Bistro got COVID, where I was working, but me. I went and got tested. I didn't have COVID. I was like, "How the fuck my girlfriend had COVID? Her whole family, like everybody had COVID with me." So.
You were on a mission.
I was on a mission. So this is a crazy story. So I'm at my uncle's house, right? And it's 3 a.m. And we closed down the restaurant. I'm like, I don't want to close it. Like, it was like, you have to close it, Ryan. I was like, all right, we'll close it. Then that night that we closed it, the morning at 3 o'clock in the morning, a fucking baby squirrel wakes me up. It's in my room, jumping around. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And it's like on my bed, a little baby squirrel, and then it's jumping on my TV to jump around. I'm like, this can't be real life. I have a video right here. So
send it to me. We'll plug it in.
So I wake up. Oh shit! Sorry. 8-ounce portion cups coming. Sorry.
That's okay. We edit it.
All right. So this baby squirrel wakes me up at 3 a.m, and I'm like, maybe this is a sign that I shouldn't stop. So I call this guy Ken Coffee. Like, we could plug it in the thing, but
yeah, I'll play it.
Yeah. Literally woke me up, this little baby squirrel. So I might have been like so burnt out mentally that I thought it was a sign.
So now it gets to 4:45.
But maybe it was a sign because I didn't give up.
Oh, he's still on the...
Dude, I tried to get out of my room for 30 minutes. I was like, fuck it, you know what? I'm going to get up and go to Restaurant Depot. So I got up and I was like, I'm going to start a new restaurant concept called Resilienza, which means resilience in Italian. And so I went to the restaurant, wrote a menu on my computer at 5:30 in the morning. At 6 a.m., I called Ken Coffee, who owns a sanitation company, to come and sanitize the entire restaurant, like for COVID, because he does that on Wall Street and like for big businesses.
Yeah.
So he came and sanitized the restaurant, and then at 6:30, I went to Restaurant Depot, turn on all the lights, and then I said, pop up dinner at Bistro, proceeds go towards Toys for Tots because Christmas was coming. I just want to see how much money I could raise for that, and I just didn't want to stop cooking food. I didn't want to be in my room and like give up like at this point. So I wrote a menu, at 6:30 in the morning, printed them out, sent them to the printer company, and he printed me fresh menus. It was a legit menu, like red sauce Italian menu. And I have nobody now. So I went from having like 60 people to the entire community to no one, just me. Just right where I started again. So I went to Restaurant Depot. I spent $543.33. Went to church. And then I just started doing these videos like I'd bread things and it'd say tap to fry, tap to like the interactive
Tap to stuff.
story.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I did all that, tap to dredge, and just started cooking Italian food. Like same way I started from the beginning, making chicken parmesans, like cooking stuff that my grandma taught me how to cook. I created an entire menu, and then I had to clean everything up by myself and market. Pretty much did everything by myself. And I sold a shit ton of food that first day. But then the second day, it was ridiculous. It was like, I was like, I'm cutting it off. Then I had 3 guys that weren't sick that came in. And then I started selling Italian food. But from there, it was like, there was no bailout from Como or anybody at the restaurant. It was either I needed to put in all the money back into Bistro. None of the partners wanted to put any money back into it. So I was like, you know what? I'll walk from here. So I walked from Bistro. And I had that kitchen in Belmore. So I took my remaining team once they got better, got a bunch more people, went to Belmore. I started, I went on a fucking rampage. I started Carroll's Catering. Carroll's Clean Eats is my meal prep company. Resilienza, which is an Italian. And then More by Murray, which is, I didn't even say anything about Chef Alex. Chef Alex Murray did all our pastries and desserts the whole time. She started More by Murray. So we did like custom cakes, everything. So we fucking killed it there. As soon as I moved into the Belmore kitchen, within a week, Fox 5 came, and then like NBC, CBS, News 12. We were on like every major thing. And I was like, oh shit, this is like real now. And then
It's a crazy story.
so people just started donating a shit ton of money, and I just started feeding more and more people. And then it turned into, we fed like 250,000 people. And at that point, the catering was just flying out. So then the next summer hit, and I was,
Just this summer 2021.
yeah, so summer 2021, that whole winter was like just scary and weird. The rest of the winter, we were just like pumping out food and just selling it, and just pumping food out to families in need and stuff. So summer 2021 hit, and I started Carroll's Catering, like doing events and stuff. That was probably like the most profitable thing that we've done, to bring money to the charity and like and stuff. Like, we were like, I was doing private chef stuff in the Hamptons, and I was like, this is the way. Like as a chef, like if I were to do something, it's either own restaurants or be a private chef and like go and do events like catering. Like it's so much fun, and you can have flexibility in your schedule and stuff. You still have time to network. You still have time to do all this, that, and the third. So we did that for a while. The rest of the summer was so much fun doing hibachi and like smash burgers, like anything.
Going to people's homes. That's cool.
We're doing some parties at 2, like little private, like you and your wife, to 50 to 100 people. So check out Carroll's Catering. Website's still live.
Yeah. So what's like present day Carroll's Kitchen look like and Carroll's Catering? What are you doing? How can people,
All right, so
get involved or donate or
yeah, I mean, so Carroll's Kitchen, we're just doing holidays now. So like Easter, we fed 10,000 people. Next holiday, we're just gonna feed people for the holidays right now because I opened Kickin' Chicken. So after the summer, then I opened Kickin' Chicken. So I teamed up with like a couple partners. They had a space, and I was like, let's do fried chicken. So like I went down the rabbit hole of fried chicken like heavily.
and it's really good.
Yeah.
It's in Farmingdale is the first location. You're opening a second location, right?
Town.
When is that going to be open? Do you have a date for it?
I don't want to say anything because last time when I opened
Okay.
Farmingdale,
So there's no date for it.
yeah, it's coming soonish.
Soonish.
I'm gonna leave it at that. When I opened Farmingdale, everyone like I marketed and branded it like a lot, obviously. And yeah, it was just like
Yeah,
too
you
many
had you were
people
like,
at the door. As soon as we actually opened, never doing grand opening again, by the way. As soon as I opened that place, it was just like, whew. Like I've worked at like Catch in New York City where we did 1,400 covers, but you know we had trained staff and stuff. I have a bunch of 16-year-old kids, 17-year-old kids. When we opened that place, it was terrible.
they didn't. Yeah, you got overwhelmed with.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean,
But,
the line was down the block.
Yeah, but I mean we're rocking out now. It's fun. The food's really good. Everyone loves fried chicken.
Yeah, and even I don't eat chicken. I eat the plant-based one, and it was
Plant-based is good.
It's great.
Yeah, for any vegans, that plant-based chicken is really good. That's gardening.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I used to do a vegan chicken parm with that.
But the way it's breaded, it's like
Yeah, it's legit.
yeah, it tastes like it feels like chicken. I wouldn't say it tastes like chicken, but it feels like chicken in
Yeah.
terms of the consistency and like the make it crunchy.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. With Kickin' Chicken, you're doing a lot of cool things. You've done like these challenges that have really gotten a lot of people's attention.
Yeah.
You make people sign a waiver because you have like a crazy hot flavor. Tell people about that.
Yeah, I mean, so there's different levels. So it's like Nashville style fried chicken. So you get regular chicken that's not hot, like regular anything from tenders, anything, bone-in chicken sandwiches. But then there's different heat levels. So I make like this really aromatic chili oil that it gets dunked in, and then I get all spices from this guy in Chattanooga. Like it's legit. Like we get from Serrano powder, jalapeno powder to Carolina Reaper, 7-Pot Brain Strain, like the hottest pepper powders in the world that he makes. He grows the peppers and then makes his own powders. So we get like kilos of the powders, and I make different mixtures. There's level 1, 2, and 3, and then there's the Reaper, which is so you can come in and get the Blazing Inferno, and you have to sign a waiver. It's like ridiculously hot. I say it's a 10 out of 10. And then we do the Carolina Reaper challenge where I marinate the chicken in Reaper and 7-Pot Brain Strain powder. And then the breading is infused with that too, and the chili oil. And so it's like absolutely ridiculous. We had like 20 people try it.
What is the challenge?
So you got to eat 5 tenders in 5 minutes, and you win $1,000. Now it's $250 because it's just
You had a lot of people trying it.
yeah. It just
Has anyone beaten it?
yeah. This one guy.
Just one?
Yeah, this guy Ben came from Arizona. He flew from Arizona to Farmingdale, paid $975 for a flight both ways, Airbnb and Uber, cost it all out. Came and did the contest, won it. So he won $25 and a trophy. And he was hurting bad. He puked like 5 times before he left.
Oh, man.
I was like, go outside and puke outside, please. As soon as he finished, he drank like 4 milkshakes, puked, and then I got his number because I like Zelled him the money and stuff. And I texted him like, how you doing, dude? He's like, everybody on this plane hates me, on his way back home because he was just puking and just, yeah. And when you eat spicy, like,
Yeah, you can't. Your body can't
it's
handle
like
that.
Not even spice. When you eat food that has so much capsaicin in it, that like you get cap cramps, they call it. Like you literally get cramps from too much capsaicin in your intestines and stuff. But I mean, people build tolerances and stuff. Like I'm in this group, Pepperheads, on Facebook. I went down the rabbit hole with spice world, and there's like these people that just eat Carolina Reaper, like there's big bowls, and just eat it like this on camera, like they're eating cherries.
They just not get affected by the
They just
capsaicin,
years
or-
of just eating hot stuff.
So you can build up a tolerance.
Yeah, you could definitely build tolerance to capsaicin, 100%. I mean, to anything. Like think about when you're a kid and you eat a jalapeno, you're like, ah.
Yeah.
But when you get older,
Now you're like, oh.
people are just squirting sriracha sauce and everything, just downing bottles of sriracha. You know, it's like there's definitely tolerance build up to anything really, to the extent. But
Yeah.
just definitely.
So tell us, I guess we've gone through like a crazy story. Is there anything else that we didn't touch on that you definitely want people to know about before we go?
So obviously I'm just doing charity for, not just, we're doing big events. Like I'm just feeding like 10,000 people at one time instead of like 500 people a day. Right. So I'm just doing it all at once and organizing it that way so that I can build businesses and do stuff on the side. But what was I gonna say?
Is there anything coming up?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I'm working at like Island Harvest in the mornings now, like on Wednesdays and Thursdays at like 8 in the morning, just like helping unload trucks and stuff.
Do you
So-
need volunteers? Do you need people?
Yeah, they always need volunteers. You can go on their website. If anybody, Wednesday at 8:15 in Melville. So like so Carol's Kitchen like became legit. Like I partnered with Island Harvest, Long Island Cares, like the biggest nonprofits and stuff. Free, like those are the three biggest nonprofits in Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
So we like partnered with them, and I got contracts with them and stuff. So they're like the meccas. So I became friends with like all the CEOs of that, and so whenever I'm hankering to help people, hey, I'm just gonna sign up on your website. You'll see me there. That's it. It's actually really fun. It's crazy. Like they'll just come. So like food from like Cisco and like these big companies, you don't know, they purposely donate like pallets and pallets of food every single quarter, right? So
For what purpose? You're saying they purposely do it?
Like tax reasons and other reasons as well. So they come to like Island Harvest and they have like this big warehouse. So they'll just have trucks unloading pallets, and then people come and they help unload it. So it comes to a point where like the people that run like Island Harvest and these big nonprofits are like, I have like fucking I have
okay. You've been cursing the whole time. It's all right though. We're allowed to.
I have like 10,000 pounds of olives. What do I do with it? Like it's like these weird issues. Like I've this much of this.
Oh, it's like
what do I do?
Overstock.
Yeah.
Or
so it's actually really cool what they do. So they have, you have to get a pass. Like they come and inspect you, things like that. And they have all these other nonprofits come to Island Harvest. It looks like on the dock of like GTA, Into the Departed. When they meet when they meet the Chinese to get the microchips. You're like on that, like it's like dark and it's like there might be a sniper in the back over there. You know what I'm talking about?
I have no clue.
All right, great.
But I can see it.
Okay, so it reminds you of like a meetup like that, and like a bunch of people meet up with trucks, and then they just start unloading these pallets of food, and they go, and then there's like 10 companies, like, and it'd be like Carol's Kitchen, take 4 cases of chicken, take this, and whatever you get, you get.
Wow,
it's fucking weird. It's really cool.
They just have it all mapped out, and they just skip.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they do, like with the extra food.
Okay. So if anyone wants to get involved, if anyone wants to reach out to you or see some of your projects, how can they do that?
You can come to Kickin' Chicken. I'm there like every day right now. So
yeah, and anytime I text you, you're just like, come to Kickin' Chicken at 11 a.m.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
Yeah, I'm there at 11 a.m. pretty much every single day. I'm trying to like.
Where can they follow you on social?
You follow me, Chef Ryan Carroll 62 on Instagram, Carol's Kitchen LI on Instagram. You can book me for private chef stuff and catering. You can text or call me. Just go on my website, carolscatering.com. It says call or text at the top. Best thing is just text me.
Cool.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot more to the story that we'll get to another time.
Yes, I agree.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks, bro.
Sweet.